I'm David Carno, Executive Editor for CNET.com, and I'm here with the Sony Reader Daily Edition. This is the first Sony ebook reader with built-in wireless 3G service. That's courtesy of AT&T. So now Sony's on the same ground as the Kindle, and this model is actually a touchscreen model with a 7.1-inch screen that's bigger than the Kindle's 6-inch screen. The device itself is actually almost exactly the same length as the Kindle, but because the Kindle has that built-in keyboard, it uses up that extra real estate at the bottom of the screen. This one does not, so you get more text. Some of the key differences between the step-down Touch Edition, which is a 6-inch model, this one comes with 2 gigabytes of built-in memory. That's a little bit more memory. And you get expansion slots for SD and memory stick duo card slots, so you can really store a lot of stuff on this e-reader. It is not a capacitive touchscreen like you have on the iPhone or some of these other smartphones, so you do have to press down a little bit. It isn't quite as responsive. Then you also have to factor in that this is an e-ink display. That's a paper-like display that's not backlit, and that technology is a little bit sluggish, so it just doesn't have that zippy feeling that an iPhone or an iPod Touch has. It's got a nice uncluttered look to it. It's easy to find stuff to a degree. However, once you get inside the Sony ebook store, when you access it wirelessly, it can be a little bit sluggish depending on your connection, and also it can be a little bit hard to find stuff. You just can't drill down that easily into various different categories. So while Sony does have a lot of ebooks in its store, it's hard to surface all those different ebooks. You can connect this reader to your desktop via USB and transfer over files. This does take a lot of different formats for ebooks as well as PDF files, but when you go to the Sony ebook store on your computer and buy books that way, you can't wirelessly transfer them to this device yet like you can with the Kindle. You have to do it via USB, so that's a little bit annoying. Once you get into the ebook store, you can access not only ebooks but periodicals as well. Sony has added the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, a number of other newspapers. You can subscribe to those newspapers and have them delivered to the device each morning. One of the advantages to having a touchscreen is that you can have such features as annotations and markup capabilities just using a stylus. There's a little stylus that hooks into the side of the device. You can also make some notes with your finger if you had to. Another thing we liked about this model is it comes with its own protective carrying case. That's something that the Nook or the Kindle are extras with those devices. It's also worth noting that the Daily Edition has a display that has 16 levels of gray rather than 8 of the Touch Edition. That allows you to display images a little bit better. Yes, this does JPEGs. You can also listen to MP3 files on it. There's a headphone jack. Fortunately, one of the downsides to this current generation of touchscreen technology for these e-readers is that there are some glare issues because there's an extra little sheet of glass. There's also the contrast isn't as good on this model as something like the Barnes & Noble Nook or the Kindle, or even Sony's step-down model, the PRS 300. And the touchscreen does allow for easy navigation and some of those extra features like being able to mark up text. The only 2 big issues we really had with it were, again, the screen. There are some glare issues with it, and the contrast isn't quite as good. And the price is rather high at $399 right now. Perhaps if Sony brings down the price a little bit, this will become a more compelling choice. But for now, this is really considered more of a high-end e-reader with a few flaws. I'm David Carno, and that's the Sony Reader Daily Edition.
Hey folks, Brian Cooley from CNET.com. Now when we check the performance of a piece of tech, we check the performance of a piece of tech. If you love videos of cars and all their high-tech and high-performance glory, check out the CNET CarTech video podcast, cnet.com/CarTechTV.